So, Ellie, explain because you're a traveler now. You're well versed.
Mhm.
You went to Spain. Apparently, I saw a photo of you with ice cream. Looked
Oh,
pretty good. The ice
amazing.
cream looked different than American ice cream. Have to
Just a
say that.
gelato.
Oh, yeah. Hate gelato. So
You're
explain.
Italian.
Yeah, but I'm very Americanized. I just like
Okay, let's be honest. Italian food is American food at this point. Like, come on.
true. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just a
American, all the ethnic foods are just versions, like our American
yeah.
version.
So you mentioned, I don't know if you want to touch it. You quit your job and just went to Spain.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like Eat, Pray, Love and things
Oh,
like
for
that.
fuck's sake.
So, so horrible movie, by the way.
I
So,
didn't have any cathartic experience. I took two midterms the first week, actually.
so how did this come about? Like, you just said, "Fuck it, I'm going." Or did you have this plan?
We had a plan because we ended up going for my husband's job. He had a conference over there.
Cool.
And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm fucking absolutely going to tag along. And it just so happened that it coincided with my spring break with school. Because if it hadn't, I would have stayed home. But it coincided with my spring break for school. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. Like, we're going to Spain. Because we only had to pay for one hotel like the second week, which I used credit card
Jeez.
points for. So
Now, how far is that? Like,
that
yeah, how far is that flight? Because you have to go. Did you have to stop at
so
like New
our
York?
first Yeah, so we stopped at JFK, and then it was 8 hours from JFK to Barcelona. And then coming
Hmm.
home, we did Barcelona to Paris, and then Paris straight back to LAX, which was 12 hours.
Oh my fucking
Jeez.
god! I
No,
thought
well, okay, honestly, we've been to Australia, which was 16 hours. Once you do 16, you can do anything.
Oh, yeah. I
that's
just
so fucking. Did you sleep on that?
Yeah, yes, yeah, a little bit, yeah. For whatever reason though, Air France, they didn't have like our second Air France flight didn't have the stupid little individual like air thingies, the little fans. So that kind of sucked. Because I was like, I'm hot. But other than that, it was
your
like, oh,
first time in Spain.
yeah, first time in Spain, first time in Europe, so I'm gonna make it my entire personality now.
Did it live up to expectations?
Oh, it was better. It's gorgeous. Like if you have
Really?
even a remote interest in architecture or you just can appreciate architecture, it's
Mm.
fantastic.
Now you've known me for 2 years, a little over 2 years.
Doesn't
Judging
believe
by how you know me, do you think I'd enjoy Spain?
you probably like the food.
Like Brian, do you think I'd enjoy and appreciate
No,
the architecture? No.
no.
Well, you don't think I'd be able to walk around and tour and just
Yeah,
appreciate?
because you walk
Yo,
like 2 miles a day.
if like we blindfolded you and brought you to like whatever town square and then pulled it off, you would just go, "Wow, where can I just get some fucking food?"
See.
You wouldn't give a fuck.
You're mesmer. I would have been like, "Oh wow, a building! They're everywhere on Earth."
Yeah.
Like I'm that type of person. Like
No
so,
appreciation.
I it's
Oh,
not that I don't appreciate it. I understand how like
no,
incredible it
it's
is.
like fireworks.
Right. And I hate fireworks.
It's fucking like
Yeah, I'm not
okay.
really into fireworks either. Boring.
So what's like the main sorry for the ignorance here. Like what's the main sculpture like the Rome Colosseum has? Like what's the
So
big thing in Spain?
it's a lot of like Art Deco and Gothic. And
Really?
then it, mhm. Well, not so much. Actually, no, not so much. I take it back. Not Art Deco. It's more Gothic. Like we were in the Gothic quarter initially where we first stayed.
What's
Um,
Art Deco? What is that? Like
Art Deco
what's an
is like
example?
Great Gatsby, like 20s style, like the
Hate the
loud,
Great
vibrant
Gatsby.
photos. Yes, I don't know why I said Art Deco. Please strike that from the
I
record.
just don't even know what that is. So I you're not
Okay.
yeah.
And then a lot of intricate wrought iron and balconies and windows and even like bright colors. It was what was interesting was you can see like where the Spanish influence comes in New Orleans with the balconies and the fancy
Okay.
iron and whatnot. I was like,
And the
okay,
vomit on the street and the hoses that yeah, I got you.
that part too. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool to see like, okay, I see how Spain's influence has comes into play in New Orleans, even some of the brighter colors. I mean, a lot of things like Caribbean, Spanish, French, but you can tell like, the French ruled New Orleans, ruled Louisiana, and then the Spanish ruled Louisiana for a moment.
Mhm.
It's cool to see like those influences that you've always seen and then seen like where they actually come from. So that was really cool to see. And a lot of Gaudi, Anthony Gaudi, the architecture that is the Sagrada Familia, uh, Park well. It was cool to see the mosaic guy. I don't know, that's the best way to, the guy with all the mosaics and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see a matador fight?
No, I've only seen a bullfight in Tijuana, Mexico.
I heard that they're like more brutal than like they
They're-
lead on. Like
No,
you
yeah,
like
they're really sad actually.
yeah, like they like they poke every nerve in the bull's body and send it out there half blind. That's why when the matadors get absolutely gored, I'm all for it.
No,
100%.
oh well, I don't know about all that, but I mean, in hindsight, again, hindsight is 2020. It's like you don't know like what the. I mean, when we saw a bullfight, we were kids, and like, and again, but it was kind of more socially acceptable. Now it's kind of like absolutely not. They shouldn't even. I mean, I'm not going to tell someone whose culture like.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
it is
do
tough.
that,
I
but,
take
like,
that back. It is their culture, so I can't say that. But like from an outsider perspective
Oh,
looking
fuck
in,
that shit.
but you know what? They might look at us the way we eat animals or put a bullet in a
Right.
cow's head as equally as terrible. So it is their culture.
Right. So I mean,
It is
I'm
what it
sure
is.
there's maybe a more, and again, I'm not an expert in bullfighting, and maybe there is a more humane way of doing it. But when we saw it, and I'm not trying to like trash Mexico or anything, when we saw it, they put these like really fancy stakes in them. Like each matador has like their colored ones, and like they drill them in like right in between their shoulder blades. Like so on a horse, it's called the withers area. I don't know if it's the same on a bull, probably the same. And I think it's kind of like a point system. And I'm talking out of my ass. Like each matador has like these colored prongs that they stick into the bull, and then they'll bring out these horses that are in like full on like basically like bulletproof vests. You know the stuff when we were kids, like in indoor playgrounds that had like those hexagons, those rubber mats with like the hexagon spaces.
Yes.
Right, they're covered in that. And then like some
Really?
padding and whatnot. Yes, it's very interesting. I didn't know that they bring horses out and they just have these long like javelin spears and they're just like poking it and the bull's like, running into the horses. I mean, it's the again, when I was a kid, it's like, oh, cool, bullfight. And then now it's like, the animal welfare person means kind of like, no, you know what? That's their culture. I'm not gonna tell someone not to do something that's part of their culture, but am I personally gonna financially support that? No. Am I going to encourage others to go see it? No. But am I going to be like, don't change your culture? Also, no.
Now, what was
I kind of feel like that's like saying that that's someone's culture is just an excuse.
could be. I mean, that's a good cop
That's
out.
nonsense.
That's a good
like,
cop out. But like, look at the
thing
way
is,
they
it's also it's like saying, okay, well, it's someone's religion. Like I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at like indigenous people, like they still hunt seals and narwhals. I'm not going to tell an indigenous person who's been eating narwhals and seals for the last, eon to not do that.
That's
and I think
totally
they don't
different.
waste
I'm talking
it.
about just killing a fucking bull
for sport. Like you're right. How does this differentiate from
Slowly,
like
not
big
even
game
fucking
hunting in your
Well, big
eyes?
game hunting, if it's done right, the animal is dead with one shot. If
Mhm.
it's done right. And most hunters, mine is those stupid trophy hunters, which I don't condone, but most people that actually go out hunting, they're actually some of the biggest land conservators and really into conservation, because if there's no land and no stuff to hunt, they lose everything. If the wild land disappears, they can't go out there. A lot of hunters just like being out in the wild. It's like, oh, if I happen to get a deer and I bring it home and eat it, cool. But
yeah. Well, yeah, that's an argument for another day. I'm not against hunting. I couldn't do it personally. I just couldn't shoot a deer
it's
or
not my
whatever.
bag.
What food was phenomenal, and like if Brian and I were gonna frolic through the streets of Spain, what what would you recommend food wise? What was as advertised?
It's all small plates. Tapas. If I don't see tapas for the next year, I'm okay. I don't want to see the word tapas for a very long time.
I don't know if Brian would like all small plates. Brian could
you
eat.
have like
Brian's a family style guy.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure every time we ordered, we'd be like, oh yeah, so we're going to do appetizers, and then we'd get our meal, and then like a dessert. I'm pretty sure they're like, oh, fucking fat ass Americans getting all this fucking, I'm pretty sure that's what they were thinking, which is fair. But great pizza, great pasta, great steak. I mean, it was just all, and a lot of it tasted better too. Like even their butter.
Now, how much of that was just because it was new to you, do you think? Like 60%?
Part of it? No, maybe more like 20 or 30. Like I've had steak before.
There's a girl I work with who went to Italy like 2 or 3 months ago, and she has like also like she has a crazy special diet, like all sorts of like intolerances to fucking.
She went to Italy?
Wheat flour, gluten, all this shit, right?
Why would you go to Italy with those allergies?
Went to Italy, ate pasta, bread, all that shit, and nothing happened to her.
So you think it's healthier, you're saying, out there? Like they don't put as much shit here?
Well,
Do you understand how much American food is banned in other countries?
Maybe
that's true.
Please,
yeah.
no, Google that one time. It's
Well,
shit that we eat every single fucking day. It's banned all around the world because it's known to cause cancer.
Well, part of
Population
it
control.
too, it's funny you bring that up. I have a friend who's on her way to becoming a registered dietitian, and she was telling me, she's like, a lot of people in Europe don't have similar. I mean, granted, some people just generally have celiac disease, but don't have the gluten intolerance, don't have acid reflux, and that's part of it is culture wise, because people in Europe, they actually will sit down and have their fucking meal and sit there and digest their food, whereas we're like grab and go,
Right.
eating while we're working, da 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 da. They actually
Yeah.
sit there and digest their actual food.
Yeah, but who has time
That's
for
not so
that?
much.
Yeah,
Like
but
seriously.
there's so many ways you could go with all of it though, because you could even argue that like who's the ones that are in control of all the food?
Yeah.
It's big businesses. Big
Yeah.
businesses are also in the pocket of the government. The government has a say in what's going in. You ever watch? There's this you know the guy who did what's it called? Super Size Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morgan Spurlock.
So he did a Super Size Me too, but what he did
Yes.
was went into the chicken industry.
Mm.
And like he just put everything out there, all the bullshit they put all over labels, all the things, and he
Oh yeah.
was doing it up to regulation for all the things to be called an organic chicken farm. And
Yeah.
it's literally full of shit. But the one thing that was in it, he was talking to another farmer that was in the area. And he was like a smaller farmer, and he's like, oh, "You guys are losing business now, right?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, because a lot of the like the Purdue and Tyson and all those, they stopped allowing those smaller farmers to sell their chicken because they'll sell their stuff so much cheaper at
Right. They undercut them and then they
because they have
price them
so
out.
many fucking chickens
Yep.
that they're just genetically fucking creating, and they're making our food essentially poison." And it's just to get it out, get it out, get it out. But I don't know how true that is, but that's a route you can go with everything.
Yeah, and I agree, and I like the movie Super Size Me, but in my eyes, Morgan Spurlock is the anti-hero because he got rid of the super size at McDonald's. And as someone who enjoys their fast food a lot, I was devastated when the largest meal was taken off
Are you
of the
shamrock shaking
option.
it this month?
I did not have a Shamrock Shake this month.
They're
When I
still
go to McDonald's, it's not for one thing. And when I go, it's for the value meal.
there's still time to get one. I might go get one when we're done here.
I'm not going for a Shamrock Shake. But really quick, just gun to your head, Brian. How many Big Macs could you eat in one sitting?
4.
Four.
Definitive 4, like he's done it before.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, so Ellie, give it a grade. Spain, what was it out of a 10? 8.9? Flight included, everything.
I'd give it a 9. They're not really AC people, which I know AC is horrible for the environment, but that was the one thing where it's like they're goddamn lizards. Like if it even like 68 degrees, it's like people in fucking LA, get your fucking Uggs and parkas and beanies on. It's like it's 68 degrees, like fucking relax.
Biggest question too for people who want to know, and I'd like to know this. Europe, is ice that hard to get at restaurants? Like Americans need their drinks cold. Is it all lukewarm shit?
Certain parts I think it still might be a little difficult, but if you're like in a big city, like they can have it. I mean, I like ice in my water, but it's also kind of like I'm not gonna fucking pedal someone over ice. It's just like I would just like a water, please. Like
I'm a big ice. I'm a big ice guy, Bri. Fucking Cal
Now, what they
cubes
don't do,
here.
they do charge you for water, or you have to. I think you have to ask, like, can I get sink water? But they'll bring you like bottled water.
Real
typically.
ice tray.
Hey, Cal cubes here needs his ice. Bring him over.
No, well, they'll serve cocktails with ice. Like if it's a
Good.
Yeah.
It's good to know. Brian, what's the likelihood you'll ever be in Spain?
Not unless I have no fucking idea.
We should do a TruExact goes to Spain. That'd be
literally
fucking
know.
hysterical.
I wouldn't. I don't even know what the fuck I would do. I don't even know what's there to
What
go.
is Spain?
Yeah, what the fuck? I don't even know where Spain is.
Oh,
Off the top of my head, I
Why
don't,
we get made fun of. This is why we get made fun of.
whatever.
Oh, I took Spanish class, and a little known fact, I would be great in Spain because I am doing Duolingo, and I plan on learning Spanish before I go to Mexico for Eric's wedding. I'm doing 15
Oh,
minutes.
you're married in Mexico?
Yeah, I'm doing 15 minutes a day. So, Brian, when
What
we're
have you
out there,
learned so
you guys are
far?
going to be shocked. What?
What have you learned so far?
Perdón is pardon me, I think.
Oh, wait, I'm on Duolingo too. Wait, add me.
You need to say it with a Spanish accent.
De nada is your welcome. Come manzanas. I
Do you
eat
eat
apples.
apples? Or yeah.
I eat assholes.
No, como.
Como, yeah. I'm slowly learning, but they're all gonna be in shock.
With your broken Spanish, you can get by on your broken Spanish.